Only 24 hours ago, no-coiners everywhere were crawling out of their holes and once again declaring that Bitcoin was dead and going to zero. But in reality, the only thing that was dead was the neurons in their brain and their will to live. Exactly the opposite of last week's candle open that saw Bitcoin go from $57,000 all the way down to 43,000 US dollars. Bitcoin has opened this weekly candle at 45,000 US dollars and is continuously climbing. But is this pump the real spiel, or will it leave us chewed out, rubbed down, and begging for mercy? And is Ethereum making a recovery bounce as well, or is this just the rub down before the smackdown? And after a week of rather slow news, more big money mamas are coming out in support of Bitcoin. Holy cannoli. But the question is now, do Bitcoiners have the thrust to bust? I'm your host, Buster, Thrust and Bust, and the only thing that I like more than making money is making even more money. What a savage. So guys, we're going to be doing some TA on Bitcoin today after coming within less than a single % of the target we've been talking about for the last week. Is this truly the bottom, or do we really have to be careful here? Is this just a fake out bounce? So we're going to be talking about exact targets and exact things that I want to see shape up on the charts before I get too confident, because guys, every time Bitcoin dumps 5%, people swear that we're going to zero, and every time it pumps 5%, everyone thinks we're going straight up to a new all-time high, and that could not be further from the truth. So we're going to try to differentiate if this is actually a big deal, or if this is just a little itsy bitsy teensy weensy little fake out pump, or if it truly is a recovery for the ages. If you guys are new channel, make sure to hit that subscribe, make sure to turn on post notifications, and as well make sure to hit that bell so you get notified exactly immediately when we post these urgent updates. And without any further giggly goo, let's jump in. So guys, the week that we had Tesla come out and say about their massive $1 billion Bitcoin buy, we were pretty spoiled. We had massive fundamental news after massive fundamental news day after day, and it was absolutely very it spoiled the Bitcoin community a little bit. And last week was a little less impressive, but we're already starting off this week with two pretty big fundamental affirmations of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is at a tipping point and could become currency of choice for global trade, Citigroup says. Absolutely big. So crypto is at a tipping point of mainstream acceptance or a speculative implosion. This is truly a critical time. I personally think that Bitcoin is long past its make or break phase, and at this point, betting on a $1 trillion asset like Bitcoin, whether or not it's going to go to zero, is a debate only for turkey brains at this point. However, there is some very interesting institutional news still that is just very pivotal for Bitcoin if it truly is going to be accepted, and if it truly is going to be exactly what we want it to be. And this truly marks a change in tone for major financial institutions of Bitcoin. Remember, flashback to 2017, none of these financial institutions, not a single one, none of these mainstream financial institutions wanted anything to do with Bitcoin. And we fast forward to 2021, and it's basically a race between Michael Saylor and the rest of the billionaires. This man just keeps buying up all the Bitcoin. So this is very good. And again, one of their big arguments back in 2017 was this tulip mania thing. And if you understand Bitcoin and you rationally try to compare Bitcoin to a tulip, you might want to go to your doctor and make sure your brain is within your skull. And even though this entrance of institutional investors has sparked confidence in crypto and Bitcoin specifically, and Ethereum as well, there are still persistent issues that could limit widespread adoption. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, they're kind of small concerns like custody, which again, there are safe ways to hold billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, capital efficiency, and then even this power debate where people like Bill Gates will come out and say that it uses a lot of power, which if we switch over to renewable energy more so in the future, again, it won't even be an issue. And as well, Shark Tank host Kevin Spacey also saying that now he puts 3% of his capital into Bitcoin. He says here, I'm fascinated, I'm investing, I'm holding a 3% weighing in between Ethereum and Bitcoin. The volatility sickens me, but I'm getting used to it. And this comes after him previously saying that Bitcoin was absolute dumpster garbage. And something I absolutely respect about Kevin here, he says, I change when facts change. Guys, if more people had this mindset, the world would simply be a better place. If we can have an opinion, and then if we're presented with new facts, and we can adjust our opinion based on those new facts, the world would, I mean, we would be heading towards a utopia by next week. The entire world would change overnight if people were able to incorporate new data and then form a new opinion instead of holding on to their old beliefs and holding on to their new opinions for literally no other reason besides the fact that they held on to those beliefs in the past, so they must hold on to those beliefs now. Canadian, Swiss, and many other regulators have done a 180 on Bitcoin. This is a game changer for many investors, including me, says Kevin O'Leary. Absolutely huge. Massive shout out to Kevin for being a rational person in an absolutely irrational planet Girth. Now guys, if we switch over to Bitcoin, absolutely very, very interesting stuff going on here. We have this weekly candle so far being a little bit of a pump-episode, but we have to be extremely careful here. So I'm going to be going over exact targets. We're going to start on some lower time frames, and we're going to look at this. As of right now, we have not yet hit the $42,000 target, but let me be clear as well. I called for 42,000 about a week ago when we were about like 50,000 US dollars, and the main point of that was just that, in my opinion, I didn't think we were done dropping, and it was less about an exact target and more just about the fact that I didn't think there was any indication that we were about to head up to the moon. And now, has that changed here? Okay, have I changed my opinion now, or in fact, is there still potentially more downside to come? So if we start off just on the 1 hour chart, we're above some very, very key short-term moving averages for the first time in about 2 weeks. So for the first time in about 2 weeks, that's good. There's also been some data coming out that miner inflows or miners have stopped selling as much, which is very good as well, flipping positive. There's some whale data out that there's some more accumulation going on now, which again is another good indication. Currently though, if we just switch to the 4 hour, our next big moving average, the 50 on this 4 hour, is where we're seeing a little bit of resistance now, but we are above our VPVR point of control level, which again is good. And we did actually break above some short-term important key Fibonacci levels. And on this 6 hour chart, we are just attempting to head up to that next level of about $50,000 exactly. And that's where one of our key moving averages, the 50 here on this 6 hour chart is. So we're watching that. I still think we have a long ways to go. And for me, breaking above 52,000 US dollars and getting even just a single daily close above that is bullish. I mean, obviously breaking above 50,000 even is a pretty big level, but 52 is just a longer term fib level that I think is more important. And again, I just urge people not to get too excited yet, because getting too excited too early is exactly why people lost money this week, right? Bitcoin was just falling. It was like 55,000, then it was at 50, then it was trading between like 48 and 52 for a few days. And people were saying, yes, this is the bounce, this is done, it's going straight back up. And throughout the entire week, I was saying, no, I think we're going lower. And so far, we've bottomed at exactly about $43,000 even. We got within, I think, like $20 of hitting the $42,000 range. So the main point was, a lot of people were thinking, yes, this bounce is it. We are going straight back up to new all-time highs. And I just personally thought, no, there's no reason to think that. All trends still indicate that this is to the downside. But again, is this now an early sign that the trend is reversing? So again, on these shorter time frames, both of these things look good. There is some bullish divergence that is slowly starting to play out on some of these smaller time frames. But again, we just really have to be careful, because as of right now, there's nothing to me to indicate, yes, we have a confirmation, we're going straight back up. And one of the main things to look for too on the daily charts is getting back above the 21-day moving average. Currently, it's at about 49,500. Let's round up and be careful. Let's just go to 50,000. Let's give ourselves an extra, like quarter of a percent. Let's see here. Yeah, let's give ourselves a 1% wiggle room. Let's just say we get up to about 50,000. That would be good in the short term. We would ideally need to get a daily close above the 21-day moving average. But yeah, at this point so far, we've bounced exactly on our top level of this 12-month channel that we have going back for very strong supports and resistances. So that's good. Haven't come down to that 50-day moving average. But yeah, we're seeing a bounce. And another thing I want to note as well, the DXY is continuing to go up here, bouncing off of its very long-term falling wedge. So we're going to keep monitoring that as well, because that's pumping. And again, usually that doesn't spell good news for Bitcoin. But at this point, for me, the biggest test is going to just be the very, very simple analysis of breaking above the 21-day moving average. And breaking above the 21-day moving average, for the most part, should be like the main thing you're looking at over the next 24 hours to see if Bitcoin truly is bullish. Because if we get an immediate rejection here, exactly where we're at right now, anywhere below 50,000, if we get a rejection here, that gives me no confidence that this is actually a true bounce. Bitcoin went down every single day except for one day where it did nothing basically. It went down every single day for the past week. So it's absolutely normal, even in a downtrend, to get a little bit of a relief rally and then keep going down. At this point, to answer the question, no, I'm not convinced of anything just yet because we want to see it flip the 21-day moving average. If we flip that and if we can hold that and we just continue on this more of an uptrend and start setting higher highs, then I'll start getting bullish. But until then, there's no reason, in my opinion, to start getting macro bullish until, at the very, very least, we reclaim this 21-day moving average. And now for Ethereum, same story for the most part. We've had daily closes. The one thing I do like about Ethereum is we've had daily closes exactly at this level of about 14,000 US dollars. We've had it above that. You can see we had some wicks from multiple days go below that. But yeah, we haven't had any daily closes below this. We consolidated here from January 3rd to February 3rd, an entire month consolidating in this ascending triangle for Ethereum as a resistance until it broke up above that, going from 14,000 up to 2,000, or 1,400 up to 2,000. And now this level has been support for Ethereum, and ultimately this needs to hold for Ethereum to remain bullish. It is a little bit below its 50-day moving average, so Ethereum desperately wants to reclaim that. So that's another thing we need to watch out for. Bitcoin is trying to reclaim its 21-day right here, and Ethereum is trying to reclaim its 50-day and then its 21-day. So again, Ethereum's looking a little less bullish, but over the next week, again, I think this will be forgettable. I think over the next week, this isn't going to matter because this is short-term price action. But for me, if Bitcoin cannot hold this if it cannot break above and hold this 21-day, then I think it's very likely that we are going to be heading down to 42,000, potentially a little bit lower than that. Simply just, down to that 50-day moving average. So this is really a make or break time for Bitcoin's price action because if it gets rejected here over the next 24 hours and we face a strong rejection, in my opinion, that likely means maybe another week of downside. So this has a little bit longer term implications, maybe another week of downside if we fail here, but it's really important. If we stay here, if we break above the 21-day and we can hold this fib level, the 618 right here, above about 49,000, but again, I want to round up to about 50,000. If we can hold that, then yeah, I think there's a strong case to be made that the correction is over and we can remain bullish. But again, if we can't do this, which we're testing it right now, and if we go throughout the day, let's say we even get a pump above it, but then close below it, that's equally as bearish. We don't want to get above it and then just fall right back down. So this is just a big test, and it is happening as we squeak. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you get updated with these videos. Guys, technical analysis is so important, and the longer you're in the space, the more people realize that, but there are a lot of new people that have joined the space. And if you go on like a cryptocurrency Reddit thread or something, you'll see a comment being like, guys, do you really think TA works? And there's usually mixed answers, but there are some very, very arrogant answers saying, no, TA has no value, this and that. Guys, technical analysis is a tool. Just like a shovel, just like a car is a tool. Cars can do certain things and they can't do other things. Shovels can do things and there's some things they're bad at doing. If technical analysis has the ability to help you predict or get an idea of where the price goes even 1% of the time, then that makes it valuable. If TA gives you a chance of making a better trade or making a better buy or sell 1% of the time, then it's useful, right? It helps. It's a tool that helps. Realistically, TA helps much, much, much more than 1%. But even if it was only 1%, then it would still be useful. And people that don't understand technical analysis and they don't want to go through the trouble of trying to learn all of these different indicators and everything like that, you cannot mistake their arrogance and their ignorance for intelligence or anything like that. For the most part, the longer you're in the space, the more people realize, oh, there is a fundamental, very key place for technical analysis. And just because there's so many new people that have joined over the last few months, there's a lot of, I think, uninformed opinions or just people that don't want to bother learning the basics of TA, which it doesn't, you don't have to be a genius to do simple TA. It's very, 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 very easy. And the simplest example of this, myself and dozens, probably hundreds, maybe not thousands, because there's not a lot of people that are in crypto yet, but hundreds of people knew when Bitcoin was back at 4,000 US dollars exactly a year ago in 2020, in March of 2020. So many of us knew this is a prime buying opportunity. This is when to get in. And why did we know that? Technical analysis, cyclical data, on-chain data as well. But it's a combination of all of that, and primarily technical analysis, because if you understand long-term cycles and you understand basic TA, you knew what was going to be happening. So if you really want to, you can dismiss TA and you can say it's nothing, but TA is the reason why my piggy bank is absolutely overflowing right now. And without TA, I would have made the same mistakes this year that I made back in 2017. Back in 2017, I didn't know technical analysis. I had no idea what it was. I also thought it was jibber jabber and turkey gobble, and I lost almost all of my portfolio because I didn't understand it. So it's just a warning to people out there. If you don't believe in TA or if you think it's silly, that's fine. But honestly, good luck to you, because you really, really are going to need luck to come out of this successfully if you don't even apply a little bit of technical analysis. Absolutely unbelievable. And as well, guys, if you're interested in trading, make sure to take advantage of our Bybit and Femex deposit bonuses below. As I always say, I never trade more than 5% of my portfolio. So sometimes I make really bad trades, sometimes I make really good trades, but for the most part, my portfolio is not dependent on those trades. Because again, I'm not really trading more than 5% of my portfolio. So I personally am a lot happier when Bitcoin goes up on its own, because then my portfolio value just goes up and up and up. But yeah, that's it for me. Bye-bye.